What's up YouTube? It's me, Jess, and I'm an opera singer. Today's video is going to be a performance analysis of Miss Lara Fabian performing Caruso. Let's go.
Qui dove il mare luccica e dove tira forte il vento, su una vecchia terrazza davanti al golfo di Sorrento, un uomo abbraccia una ragazza dopo che aveva pianto, poi si schiarisce la voce e ricomincia il canto. Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto bene sai.
Beautiful.
È una catena ormai che scioglie il sangue di te.
I gotta pause. Oh, she is such a good performer. It's ridiculous how good she is. Man, I need like 5 minutes just to look into who composed this and what the story is behind it. The lyrics are so beautiful and the melody too. So I found some very interesting information about this song. According to dailyitalianwords.com, this song was written by songwriter Lucio Dalla, and it is dedicated to the very famous Italian opera singer Enrico Caruso. Mr. Dalla, the songwriter, was on a boat and it broke down between Sorrento and Capri. And apparently he had to stay in a hotel in Sorrento, which is a city overlooking the Bay of Naples. The name of the hotel is Excelsior Vittoria, and he just so happened to stay in the exact same room that Mr. Caruso had stayed in just before he passed away. As he was staying in the hotel, apparently he came in contact with the owners of the hotel, and they were telling him a little bit about Caruso and how he had fallen in love with one of his students who he was giving voice lessons to. And hearing this love story and his passion for this student, he chose to be inspired and write this song. Now that we understand the story, let's talk about the language and how much it plays an impact on the delivery of the text and the delivery of the emotion. I personally think English and Italian are the two hardest languages to learn. One, to sing in, and to even learn how to speak. The difficulty with Italian is not knowing where the accent lies, and the fact that everything is just very molded together. When I practice Italian, I sometimes have to look at the entire sentence and just imagine all of the words within that one sentence are one word. You just want it to be very fluid, very continuous, with no breaks in the sound. That just very romantic feel where it's just kind of ongoing. That makes it very hard, especially if your tongue is not used to the vowels and the way that the words kind of just roll off your tongue. If you're an English speaker, we also don't have, double consonants where we would stop the sound necessarily, and we also don't roll our R's. So that adds, another challenge to learning this language and singing in it too. And those are so important in the language. So much so where if you don't do one of the rules, it could mean a completely different word. So that's what makes Italian hard. You see how this very continuous, luxurious feel of words just rolling one right after another really lends to the idea of a beautiful melodic line if you can master that. Her transition from head voice to mixed voice to chest voice is so smooth, which again goes along this idea of continuum, wanting things to just really flow very effortlessly and easily from one thing to the next. That's in both language and that's also in vocal, let's say, acrobatics. When I think about what I do here on YouTube, essentially highlighting what it is you may like or dislike and why you may like or dislike something, I think of what makes something enjoyable. And I think a core value to that really is how effortless something sounds. And then when you add in the visual aspect of it, how effortless something looks. And when I think of this idea of effortless sound and effortless portrayal of the character or the emotion of the song, Lara Fabian really is a master at that. I know that's why I like the sound. In terms of vocal technique, I like how she's playing up this idea of a very melodic sound versus just kind of speaking and spitting out some of the words just to kind of progress the storyline along. I think she does that fantastically. I don't know if it's written like this, so I just have to pinpoint that out. But if she's choosing to do this in her own stylistic way, I give her props. The moments where she is choosing to speak versus put in more of a melodic take on it are moments where the storyline is just trying to get from one point to the next, such as on the terrace or near the Sorrento Gulf, or she said something like as he clears his throat.
Qui dove il mare luccica e dove tira forte il vento, su una vecchia terrazza davanti al golfo di Sorrento, un uomo abbraccia una ragazza dopo che aveva pianto, poi si schiarisce la voce e ricomincia il canto.
These small phrases are not really what the core meaning of the song is about. They're short little phrases that are really getting us from point A to point B. They're decorative words in a sense that they are really just adding some characteristics and they're adding some vibrancy to the overall scene that we are trying to paint as listeners. What is super, super important is what that is leading up to. However, those small phrases make a big difference in the overall grand scheme of what the storyline is about because we want those small details to really spike our imagination and help us enhance the overall larger picture. So important. But notice those differentiations and why they're there and how effective that is in progressing the plot, progressing what is actually happening. I think that is so genius and I'm very curious to know, did she do that on her own? Is that written in the music? Is that traditionally done? What was that entire moment like when she was figuring out how she was going to perform this piece? That is so fascinating to me.
Le luci in mezzo al mare, le sole notti là in America, erano solo le lampare, la bianca scia di un'elica. Senti il dolore nella musica, si alzò dal piano forte, ma quando vide la luna uscire dalla nuvola, gli sembrò più dolce anche la morte. Guardo negli occhi la ragazza, le occhi verdi come il mare. Poi all'improvviso uscì una lacrima e lui credette di affogare. Te voglio bene. potenza della lirica, dove ogni dramma è un falso, che con un po' di trucco e con la mimica, sai, puoi anche diventare un altro. Così diventa tutto piccolo, anche le sole notti là in America. Ti volti e vedi la tua vita come la scia di un'elica. Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto bene sai, è una catena ormai che scioglie il sangue di te bene sai. Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto bene sai, è una catena ormai che scioglie il sangue di te bene sai, di te bene sai.
Oh, yes. Yes.
At the piano,
Wow.
Charles Barber.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, and then to hear her transition to talking in English, very interesting. I don't think I got that the last video I did of hers. Oh my god, her street tone notes, and I remember talking about this the last video I did of her. Her street tone notes are so powerful. They remind me so much of the classic, like, female powerhouse artists, you know, from back in the 80s and, you know, 90s, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, you know, just those long, beautiful, held out street tone notes that just, they just pierce, they gut right here. And then, like, the satisfaction of the vibrato at the very end, just entranced by how clear and just straight to the note her long held notes are. And what's really important about holding out long notes is maintaining the vowel. Making sure that you're thinking of whatever vowel it's supposed to be. You start with that vowel and you're thinking of that vowel for every second you're holding the note. It takes a lot of practice. It's a mind game, really.
Ma tanto bene sai, è una catena ormai.
And then when you think about that, thinking about how that note can develop, because when you are holding out a long note, question things. Why is this note being held out so long? Why is she speaking on this part but not that part? Why does she incorporate this vocal technique here, which we haven't heard the whole song, and not all of these other instances? And when I think about this beautiful melodic line and all of the long held out notes, I just question, you know, it's so beautiful. Why not really? Because it's so beautiful, but just more deeply, why? Why did the songwriter incorporate the notes like that? And I think that's what's so fascinating about music, going about the whys and not even being upset if you have multiple answers. As a performer, you should have one answer, because that is much more convincing than having all of these decisions that you haven't chosen from. But as a listener and as someone approaching music, to have all of these options is really fascinating, and then figuring out which one kind of gravitates towards you most. I see these long notes as just a very deep longing for the two characters that the song is talking about. I don't know if the romance between the two characters was in secret. I don't know if they were allowed to talk about it. I don't know if anybody else knew, but it just seems like this very passionate yet somewhat sad romance between two people, almost like a continued longing for each other. Maybe it wasn't able to work out for professional reasons. Whatever the case is, that's the vibe I get. And my God, Miss Fabian, you are incredible. Also, pianist, job well done. This reminds me, is reminiscent a bit of her last performance. Just execution top notch. So good. If you liked all that you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Comment down below what other performance analysis by your favorite artist I should do a video on. Lastly, make sure you check out the description box for ways you can keep in touch with me, get access to exclusive perks, check out the Soprano Notes blog, and or take a lesson with me. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Bye!